Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Mardek. And last time we took out Morg, and you might be asking yourself, alright, so what's next? Certainly we're done here, right? Not so fast. Let's head back to our room here. Call it a night, however, I think we will find there's a bit more for us to do yet. Mardek, Dugan, you should probably listen too. I've been thinking. What? What is it? What's the matter? Well, we defeated Morg back there, yes? That much is obvious. But consider this. My body was destroyed too, and yet, here I am. So? So that other death guy might have survived the death of his physical body too and lived on? But wait, wouldn't he have needed another body to go into like you did? There weren't any around apart from us, and you didn't go into any of us like you did with Mardek. There weren't any around? No, how silly of you. We were in a tomb. There were bodies everywhere. But don't you need an alive body? Not necessarily. It's preferable and easier, as I have experience transferring my soul, even though I've only done it once, but Mork's a necromancer. I honestly think he'd rather have a dead body than a live one. You're also not limited by the body's element if it's dead, anyway. I was able to share Mardek's body with him because we're both light. But if we were different elements, it wouldn't have worked. The soul determines the element, though, so evacuated bodies have no such limitation. And if you're wondering why the undead have elements, well, their elements are determined by the necromantic energy that animates them. If that's the case, then couldn't he have repossessed his own corpse? You'd think so, wouldn't you? But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. It can't. As for why not, that's technical and irrelevant. I'm greatly concerned that Morg may yet perpetuate his existence on this physical plane, and you saw how he was back when we battled him back in the catacombs. He seems dead set on conquering this world for his own selfish pleasures, and we must stop him. But how do we know he does still live, or exist, or whatever? We don't, but I'd bet all your money on it. As for finding him, that should be simple. Just, well, I know you're both exhausted, but rest lightly tonight. Get what rest you can. I have a feeling something's going to happen really soon. And there you have it. We're not off the hook just yet. Oi, Mardek, get up! What? It's happening! The thing that Rohoff predicted. What exactly has Morg done? Jacques says that a black mist has appeared over Canonia, like how one appeared over Gosnor. But there's not just that. Apparently this big, black, solid cloud thing appeared over the village, burning with magical green fire or something. Ah, that'd be his battleship. I'm surprised he didn't use that before, on Gosnor. We must act, and quickly. Morg's battleship has power like nothing you've ever witnessed before, and though I can't imagine him putting it to quick use, the death of one's body can injure one's mind, and Morg was fractured enough to begin with. Who knows what he'll do? But we need some way to get to the battleship. It's suspended in the air, yes? Do you have magic on this world that can allow you to fly? I don't think there are any spells like that, at least none that I've ever heard of. But I suppose we could ask the best magical people around if they know anything that we could use. But, we need to act quickly. Please, Canonia's in danger, and that place isn't as well defended as Gosnor. Well, let's go now then. We can't just head to Canonia straight away, though. First, we need to find a skilled magic user capable of assisting us. Okay, and we do need to pick our party members here. We were using Vern quite a bit earlier. I think this might be an opportunity for us to swap over to Zach again. Let's give that a shot. And sure, we'll save, I suppose. Why not? We can do that too. And head on out here toward Canonia, or at least to find one powerful mage who might be able to find a way to get us up toward this battleship. And any sign of Jacques here, or entrance into the throne room? No, unfortunately not. However, if we look at the world map, we will see that, yeah, looks like they weren't kidding. There's well and truly a battleship over Canonia. However, remember that as I was saying several times previously, when it comes to fighting bosses, such as, certainly, Mardek, it always pays to go back to the boss arena. So for that reason, we are actually going to completely ignore the fact that everyone is saying, please go to Canonia as quickly as possible, and instead, we are going to head back to Gosnor, where it is nighttime, yes. But we're going to go back into the sewer and into the catacombs. It's George. What, magic to fly, eh? Well, I didn't say anything yet. I can cast a spell on you that can make you fly. Or I could, if I wasn't yanking your leg off. And by that, I mean shifting to a state of stupidity and encumbrance. Telling you, Porky. But seriously, I don't think there are any such spells. The best magic user around here is the shaman, so ask him. Maybe he'll be able to ask Mother Nature nicely to bend the law of gravity for you. What's the law of gravity? An anachronism. Thanks, George. Anyways, let's head into the sewers again. So yeah, let's go to item storage here and check what Vern has, because yes, we put the Bone Slicer on Vern, which is just silly, because, well, we're never going to have Zack and Vern in our party at the same time, so we should have known that this scenario might arise, and similarly, let's just offload any other particularly valuable things in Vern's possession. Maybe even the Cog Necklace? I don't remember if Zack has or has not learned that ability yet. And other than that, we should be pretty good here. Oh, I suppose Bandit Leather? Maybe even the Kettle Hat? Maybe even the Moonstone Ring? I think that just about covers it. So now, let's take a second here to check back on Zack. He has mastered everything on his Shashiak, his original double sword weapon. We can swap over to the Bone Slicer, and there, as we were talking a little bit about earlier, Crescendo Slash, which is a offensive active skill, and Quarry Undead, which we've seen on other characters, it is the offensive reaction that deals additional damage to undead. Also, generally effective against undead, and we're going back into the catacomb, so that'll be quite useful. Also, we were talking about... Oh, did we? Hold on. Did we accidentally put the items from Vern here? Yes, we did. And not actually on Zack's person. Okay, here we go. Here are the items we want. Now let's use them. And in particular, we want to make sure that Zack, who currently does not have a hat, sure, we'll give him that. Did we give him the chance to use the Bend Leather? No. So that sounds like a good option there. He has already mastered Damage Soak 20, so that's fine. Has not learned Insomnia, so that might be an option there. Has also learned Damage Soak 10. That seems like a decent idea in that case. Yes. What about his second accessory, though? Could use some kind of stat boosting ring. You know how I feel about those, though. Generally think that there are better options. We did also, when we fought one of the zombie warriors earlier, get a Great Axe, which is, well, a Great Axe weapon type, and you'll see that nobody can use this right now. Not even Zack, who maybe, arguably, has the closest type of weapon to that. However, no, it well and truly is not something that anyone can use, so what's the deal with that? I don't know. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. Other than that, at this point in time, I suppose we could just give Zack a Ring of Strength, give him a little more power. And then we'll move on into the catacombs for real this time. So with Zack, we'll head back and hopefully, oh, before I forget, equip some of his skills. He presumably has now picked up Crescendo Slash, like I was saying before, which, to get the description, is an attack that increases in power when used in succession in a battle. First attack does 100% damage, the usual amount. Next does 125, then 150, 175, etc. So the longer the battle goes, the more powerful Crescendo Slash becomes. So against the random enemies that we happen across on our way through different areas, not going to be terribly significant. However, in boss fights, that's going to be pretty significant. It's going to start to rack up. So that'll be a nice skill to have. For Undead, he does have enough reaction points to equip that. Love to see it. As for the defensive reactions, we will need to get rid of something here. Let's remove Soak 10 in order to put on Evasion. Nothing magically. And then, wow, okay. Definitely could use some passive abilities there, so we'll equip both of those. We did have this maze-like area earlier when we were going through here. This time, fortunately, we don't need to worry about going into every corner of this room to find the various sources of loot. We can go straight to making it to the way out of here. Granted, it's still a bit of a winding road. So let's use Crescendo Slash here. Give you a sense as to what it's like. And I think the Ooze is probably not the best target, based on that 20 defense. So instead, let's go for the Pestilent. And there you have it. Lots of damage. That is primarily just because it is the Bone Slicer that has the effectiveness against undead. Because remember, Crescendo Slash, the first hit just does 100% damage. It's nothing additional relative to your normal attack. Oh, and we technically should have been attacking the Ooze that time. Maybe we can take it out with the Spirit Blade. We can, okay. Dugan's bailing us out. Now, theoretically, if we wanted to, we could opt... Well, that's actually Mastered Vim for Mardek. Is coming from this accessory, and we were just talking recently about how Zach did not have a lot of great accessories to use. I think between the +2 agility and the Insomnia, he was pretty much full, or close to full, with his reaction points on the passive front, so not sure that he can practice anything at the moment. Maybe we could still pass over Bone Stone to, say, Dugan. And with that, we can have Dugan begin to practice Vim. Has mastered Resist Earth, which, to tell you the truth, is also an indication that we should make sure that we are passing over the Geo Jacket to someone else, because that is too strong of an item and too strong of an ability to not have everyone try to master up. And... oh, sorry, that was Emma. Emma is doing that. So we're good there. She's working on that. Okay, good. Happy to see that. As for Mardek, he is close to finishing his defensive reactions here on Zach's armor. There is still Vern's armor here with the magic defensive reaction. That has been typically a fair bit harder for us to master things in the past of the magic defense variety, so that might take a little while. Okay. We'll bear it in mind, but I think for the time being, let's just focus on giving Dugan the ability to work on both Purity and Vim. Previously, we did have the chestplate on that allowed him to learn Purity, however, because he was working on Resist Earth, and Resist Earth is so RP intensive, he was not able to work on Purity. Now we can do both. So let's carry on here. Make our way back to where we fought Mardek a ways back. And so what I was beginning to say earlier was that theoretically, if we wanted to, we could opt to deliberately go through here and skip almost every fight, because remember, whenever you see the exclamation point appear above your head, you have the option to press Z and cancel the fight, assuming that you are powerful enough to do that. If the exclamation point appearing above your head is red, then that means that you're not powerful enough to skip it. However, certainly in this area, still in the sewers, I would expect that we could do that for just about every fight. Once we get back to the catacombs, it's probably still going to be the case, but I suppose possible. Maybe once or twice we might find ourselves with a red exclamation point. And I suppose there will still be some enemies, though, that will attack us before we can attack, and therefore will be an opportunity to learn some defensive reactions, and also offensive reactions and new skills. So, for that reason, I think it is still best for us at this stage to continue to actually do these fights and level up a little bit here and there, or just get experience, a little bit of coins. Can't hurt us too much, right? So we certainly have still a reasonable amount of that to do, if we're looking to get as much as possible on our characters. We'll carry on here, and I will let you be the judge as to whether you think Vern or Zach might have been the better character for us to use here initially with our first playthrough, or our first go-through here. As I was saying, I think once or twice when we went through here, you could make a case for either of them. I think because, remember, at this point in time, this far along in the sewers, and not having yet gone into the catacombs in our first go-through in this area, that would have been a time when Vern would have had the Silver Sword, or would have just picked it up. However, we didn't get the Bone Slicer until almost the end of the catacombs, so bear that in mind, that Zach would not yet have access to his most powerful weapon, whereas Vern would. So if we were to have swapped over to Zach at one point, then probably would have still been a little bit later than this. And there is Damage Soak 20 on Mardek. Let's take a look then at his gear and see what that means we could potentially put on him, because he is now done with Zach's armor, as anticipated. Could potentially throw on Vern's. The magic defensive reaction, as I was saying earlier, might still take a while for that to finish. So if there are any alternatives, that might be an interesting way to go. I think he has done the minus 20% reaction, though. So he had that on his initial chainmail. In which case, I think the only options would be either the Geo Jacket. I don't remember if we've done the Bandit Leather defensive reactions on Mardek yet. I think we might have started with Mardek. I think we're good there, in which case, I think that leaves us with just Vern's armor. So we'll go that route. And it does mean that other people could start to use Zach's armor for that damage soak, and has Zach even learned it? I don't know. Zach is now learning things from the Bandit Leather, so I don't think that is a switch that we should make just yet, and he has learned those things, so no problem there. Dugan, however, do you still need these? No? Okay, so actually Zach's armor is more or less good to go here. There's a chance that Vern needs that stuff, but what we're looking for is the defensive magic reaction on Mardek, and actually we have the minus 50% fire damage magic reaction as well, because threw on this guy, the fire pendant, which Dugan was using for a very long time, and yet only got 6 out of 25. So that's an indication of just how long it may take you to make sure that you can master your magic defensive reactions. Granted, we didn't necessarily make a point of allowing those to happen. Typically, what I've been doing is deliberately targeting the enemies that cast magic, because they tend to be most powerful. So if we were to, say, reverse our strategy a little bit and make it so that we're prioritizing hitting the non-magical enemies, like right now, for example, I'm deliberately attacking the magic enemy. If we were to not do that in the future, then we might find ourselves getting attacked with magic a little more often. Or the alternative is, another alternative, I suppose, would be to just deliberately pass your turn, allow enemies to hit you. Ideally, you do that near a save crystal so that when you inevitably take damage, you're not, just getting obliterated. So we'll save here. And remind me what the best way through here is. So, like, for example, this second time through, we won't have to worry about going over to the right at all, where previously we were focused on getting some chests. We'll just beeline it to the next area, and you will see why eventually. Okay, so more zombies and pestilence here. Let's make sure we use Crescendo Slash, though. And it does seem that Zach is one of our hardest hitting characters, so, yep. We'll take down one of the ones with high HP. Emla, of course, did just get MP back from the save crystal, so don't need to worry about leeching anything at this stage. Pestilence still has the most HP, let's target that. And are you done with Spirit Blade? You are done with Spirit Blade, Dugan. Okay, there's no need to focus on that. Instead, we'll just take down the zombies with a traditional attack. Mardek also using the silver sword. No problems there. And we'll give Zack some zombie dust, so he doesn't feel left out. So... right, and then loop around a little bit here. So like I was saying, when it comes to boss fights, every time it is worthwhile to go back and double check what you find there. Typically, the longer the walk, the more powerful the rewards are. And based on how far this walk is, well, maybe you can guess as to just how good this one's gonna be. I think I was talking earlier about how when we went back to the shaman fight, that was really significant because there was the Geo Jacket there. And the Geo Jacket, don't get me wrong, fantastic. Arguably the best item, at least in Chapter 2 of Mardek. However, for different reasons, this one might actually be better. I might have been mistaken. I think I said that one was the best. This one almost certainly is the best. And, well, as I was saying before, plenty of opportunities with defensive reactions, so you like to see it, even if it does mean taking some damage. And theoretically, I mean, we could take both these guys out here. I think we will find ourselves getting to a safe crystal not too far from now, because we will, remember, go to those locations where we fought one or two of the zombie warriors. Let me just remind myself as to what the correct direction is. It is actually not that far away, more or less straight down, and it is one of those hidden pathways that we saw previously. See if I remember where it is. I think it's here. Nope, here. Nope, here. There we go. First try. Those guys with that attack are actually leeching HP. Granted, they're on full HP, so not a huge deal. Doesn't make much of a difference. And I suppose with the crescendo slash, let's hit the skeleton. If I hit the reaction, that would be ideal. However, Zack says, no, don't worry about it. We're good. That leaves these guys for Dugan and Mardek. Shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, if you compare the amount of damage that Zack was dealing to the amount of damage that Vern was doing, I think you will find that Vern was still dealing a fair bit more damage, and a lot of that is because not only is Vern's Silver Sword effective against undead, it is also light elemental, and most of the enemies, almost all of them that we're fighting here, are weak to light elemental, in addition to being undead. So it's double effective for Vern, whereas it's only effective one time over for Zack. Granted, if Zack is using his Soul Strike offensive reaction, then he should be making things air elemental for his attack, and these skeletons aren't weak to air, but a lot of the earth enemies, which there are a fair number of down here, are very weak to air, so for those at least, the damage might be comparable. Like there, for example, I think we saw Vern dealing at least twice as much damage, maybe even 3 or 4 times as much damage as that. But then there are also other benefits that come with bringing Zack with you that Vern does not bring, including that Zack is faster than Vern, so if you want to be making sure that you get some hits in nice and quickly, potentially take out some enemies before they get the opportunity to hit you, then Zack is definitely better at doing that. Oh, there it is. Okay, we saw that the normal attack actually changes elements based on Zack's Soul Strike, but it did not happen with the Crescendo Slash. I did not remember that that was the case. I thought the Crescendo Slash would still inherit that element from the Soul Strike, but apparently that is not so. Alright, but anyways, here we go.